This is the strangest temple I've been to so far. Something curled up on the Buddha's head. Do you know what these things are? Every morning at 11 o'clock, lots and lots of people come to this very modest little temple to see something a bit different. These huge pythons apparently appeared from out of the jungle in 1974. They just came out of the jungle into the temple and decided to live there. That's the story. I somehow have my doubts, but there is no doubt that since they've been here, the attendances have increased dramatically. It's very good business. So this modest little temple stuck out in the back of beyond became a big attraction. And to this day, everyone comes here to see these incredible creatures and be a little bit scared of them. Then everybody gets the chance to have a photograph taken with the snake, which of course they pay for. There's Jacqueline and Lynn's daughter. My go. I've held snakes before, so I'm quite looking forward to this experience, really. This is a big one. I don't know if you've held a snake, but if you haven't, it's great because you can feel all the movement through your hands. Just don't let them get around your neck or up your trouser leg, and you'll be fine.
It's great. The coil is just this. As long as you kind of... The thing was, I was watching the guy and he was keeping pretty firm with it. I don't think he'd go too far. As long as you just keep hold of that head and just let it wriggle around you. That's lovely. Well, I don't mean lovely. Lovely's obviously a bit of a weird, but it was very good. It's very good.
Glamorous.
It was glamorous.
Excellent. I've got snake spit on my lens. So having been washed and dried, the snakes are fed. I don't know if this is kind or right what they're doing, but this is what happens every day. I think the idea is they feed the snakes because then they've got no reason then to move anymore, have they? They just sit and digest their food, and it probably stops them from, I'd imagine, escaping or returning to the jungle. So this whole ritual, I think it's very dubious. It's obviously done wonders for the temple's coffers, but as a moral practice, I don't really think it's a thing to feel comfortable about. It turns into something of a circus, this, so it becomes quite an honour to feed the snake. By now, of course, most of the touristy folks and other people who've come along to have a look, they're not interested. They're all milling around doing other things. But this is odd. The snake's moving much more slowly now. Perhaps it's because it's been fed. But now, this is funny, the snakes are carefully guided back to the Buddha to sleep. There's men to kind of keep pointing them in the right direction. No, not that way, mate. Yeah, that's it, moving around. So yeah, the snakes are persuaded back in the right direction. People are watching but keeping their distance. Pythons don't bite you, but they can coil around you and squeeze you a bit and cause problems. Eventually, the guys get bored with waiting for the snake to go back to the Buddha, so they just lift it up and put it there. And until it actually gets up to the top, they're standing around just in case. Look at those scales. Look at that movement. That's fantastic. Look at that. You can feel that movement when you hold the snake. You can feel all the bones and the muscles and everything moving. So there we are. The snakes are back in their home, and Lynn's daughter is getting a lovely little garland of flowers and some blessings.
Hope you all like snakes. Ooh. I'm going to send one to your house and stick it in your bed, and then I'm going to put another one round the U-bend in the toilet, so careful what you do tonight. And here we have, in a room off the main temple, and while I've been here certainly practically ignored because of the snake thing going on, is this enormous Blackpool Buddha. Look at that smile. How big is this Buddha? Well, here's a couple of lovely humans to tell you.
It's a shame, you know, now that snake thing's done, most people have gone home. But again, like all these temples I visit, it's a lovely space to just wander around in. It's very serene. I'm actually glad nobody's here. Now, okay, the Nat spirits, I promised we'd find out. The Nats are a group of spirits, 37 main ones, and they date back to animist beliefs that the Burmese held hundreds of years ago. Now, when Buddhism was introduced to the country in the 11th century, the King of Bagan, who was responsible for that, tried to ban the Nats and said, no more Nats, we're just doing Buddha. But it didn't work. So what he did was he came up with the crafty idea of incorporating the Nats into Buddhism, making Buddha the chief Nat, making the Nats subservient to Buddha so that people could worship Buddhism and the Nats alongside each other. And although today Burma, or Myanmar to give it its modern name, is a Buddhist country, the Nats are still incredibly strong. All the superstitious beliefs are still in place. The main 37 Nats are based on people who really lived. And I think the idea is that the offerings you give to whichever Nat appeals to you decides what you're asking for. Obviously, as well as asking for good things to happen, you're keeping away evil spirits and you're keeping away bad thoughts. So it's a parallel, I suppose, to the many gods in Hinduism or the many saints in the Christian religion. There are some modern day Nats. It seems that some people just kind of make Nats of their relatives if they've got enough money when they die. But basically, the Nat beliefs are very, very strong alongside the Buddhism. I suppose if you wanted to get theologically down and dirty, you could argue that the inclusion of the snake image into all these statues is kind of creating a gnat from the snake. After all, people come to the temple to give offerings in the way of money for the photos to the snake, so it's not so different, is it? I wonder what Buddha would have made of such goings on. He would have probably said, "That's cool."
We want to take a picture with you.
Hang on a minute, I'm getting Jacqueline's interesting light rash. It's really good, isn't it? Look. All you've got to do is have holes drilled in your face and have a bowl put in your head. Or wear a hat like this. That's really good. That's a great effect.
I know how that snake felt. I'm going to lick the end of the lens there.
Oh.